a single shard universe. That means that everybody is playing in the same world at the same time. There's only one central server that everybody connects to. So everybody shares this world, and it's all about emergent gameplay. One other thing is that everything around you is completely player editable, player made. Actually, this ship is completely built by players. We've made a video where I actually demonstrate how this is going. But I want to show you today, how big the world is. So let's actually use gun mode full speed now to go into space and to give you a taste of how big and beautiful the Alioth planet is, the planet where you start from. So this is it. We are in space. You can see the space station over there, and we are going around the planet. Pretty cool. Here you have another planet that we saw on the ground. So this is real. It's very close to the first planet. This is just a demo setting. Again, we are saying we are in pre-alpha. This is a tech demo, so this is not the final setting for the game. But anyway, so you see this planet. I'm getting close to it, and I can seamlessly land on it. I'm going to take an angle so that I actually see the other planet on the horizon, which I find quite beautiful. Here we go. So you see how the details are loading progressively. This is how we manage the heavy rendering load that is associated with such huge worlds. So this is it. We are on this planet. I could land on it and modify the ground in the same way I did on the first planet. Everything is editable. I want to show you also how the sun can actually move. We are going to use this for day-night cycle. It's very beautiful. See how the sun is actually influencing the shadow on the other planet. This is all real time. And now let's select the cockpit. The cockpit is an element. We have already seen one element before, the core unit, but there are actually many. Elements are active components of your construct. They are given by the game design. You can't modify their look. And they provide functionality to your construct, like an engine, a weapon, a screen, etc. So the cockpit that you see, I can rotate, position how I want, remove it also, is a variant of a more general class of elements called control units. They are used to pilot your construct, but they can also host Lua scripts to orchestrate the other elements. The cockpit is a bit special because it has an auto-configure function that will be able to analyze your ship, locate the engines and all necessary elements, and create the flight control Lua script for you. So no worry if you don't know how to script, you can still build and fly your ship. Let's cut it completely so we can see better. I'm gonna pick the tank now from the inventory. Now please remember that this is pre-alpha footage. The UI is a placeholder and far from the final rendering. Anyway, so let's put this inside here like that. So different engines will need different fuel types, so this is just one example. Now you'll have to factor also the weight of the fuel tank when designing a ship and make trade-offs between autonomy and speed, for example. I'm going to close the space in front of the engine, and for this let me show you the surface linker tool. It's a really powerful tool, as you can see, that allow you to select two surfaces and fill the space between them with shapes. So it gives a lot of freedom in the kind of things you can easily build with the voxel tools. Here we go. So we have the two engines connected to the fuel tank, and let me just add a last part, which is these wings. They are called decorative elements. They don't serve any purpose. They're just here to make the whole ship look good. You could do them with voxels as well, but let's say, I mean, you have a choice. You have some predefined decorative elements like that for your ship. Okay, looks good. Maybe a last final touch is that I'm going to close this opening here, sort of to protect the core unit from external attacks. And here we are, adjusters. So adjusters are those tiny elements which actually are engines, but they don't require any power or any energy to be functional. They don't have a lot of thrust power, but they are essential in getting your ship to be maneuverable, because they are going to be used by the scripting and by the auto configure actually to create the forces to steer your ship in any direction, to make it turn basically. So because everything is physically based, you have to put these kind of things so that your ship actually can physically do the kind of thing you expect it to do, like turning, going up and down and so on. Simply to step inside the cockpit and activate it. Up, on our way to the stars. So as you can see, there's continuous transition from planet to space, as you saw in the trailer. One word about the UI, that you see just in front of me. This is just a placeholder. What we have in mind, ultimately at the end, is that you can customize this UI the way you like by having widgets that corresponds to different elements that you have in your ship. So the active part. And let's go here on top of the space station. So this is basically where we go. We're gonna land just next to those ships over there, and I'm going to get inside the space station. That's the idea. So here we go, landing. Oops. Yeah, I think I just collided with the ship behind me. It's okay. Good, fine. So I'm on the space station, and you see this thing is huge. I'm just in a small part of it. I can, again, as I said, completely edit it any way I want. So here I put a cube, another cube here. You get the idea. I can dig a hole in it. So this is not a static mesh. This is, again, like the planet, completely editable. I can also, put some cockpit if I wanted to. It doesn't make any sense or anything. These are elements that I can place anywhere I want on the space station to add functionality to it. Okay, so let's go now inside it. we go inside this corridor. So this is made out of voxels. I mean, the hole for the corridor is made out of voxels. But what you see around you are just elements. We call them decorative elements because those are not doing anything particular. They are just used to make nice looking corridors. You could do everything with voxels, actually. You don't need to do that. It's just a functionality we had, as you can see, so that people can customize with sci-fi looking things. And we're now entering a control room, which is sort of a gigantic place that you can build. So this is not predefined. This is completely, again, made of voxels and elements. All these screens and so on are elements that you can place freely. For example, here, you know, this seat is an element. This screen over there is another element. This here. So this is completely customizable. Again, I mean, what you see on the screen are just placeholders at the moment. We have the same idea like for the ship, you know, that what you can see on these screens will be actually things that corresponds to active elements in your ship, like showing the amount of energy left, the containers capacity, the docking request, and all sorts of things that will be tied to the management of a control of a space station in a control room. So let's have a look at the planet that we just come from. It's kind of nice. You see down there is the Ark ship. That is the ship we saw at the very beginning. And you see anything that is big enough to be visible from space will be visible from space. So if you have a huge city or any big structure that you build there will be visible from space.
world where you can build anything, from spaceships to orbital stations. Explore, craft, trade, and conquer, all in one universe, shared by everyone at the same time. Forge your collective story. This is your world. Rebuild civilization together.